Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and today I'm going to put a winch on the gooseneck trailer and get it set up with a power source that hopefully I never have to mess with. First step is actually mounting the winch. I'm going to use, at least for now, I'm going to use the same winch that I use on the tractor. It's a receiver mounted 8,000 pound Warren winch, and the fact it mounts on a receiver means I can put it straight on the back of the truck. I can put it into this bracket I'm setting up here on the trailer. I can put it on the tractor. Whatever I need to do. I'll probably even have a setup to use it with the dump trailer. I just picked up this receiver right here from O'Reilly's, and I'm going to bolt this onto the frame of the trailer. To do that, I took a couple pieces of bar stock. This good heavy duty stuff here, and drilled holes in it, and I'm just going to use 1/2-inch diameter bolts and get this bolted up. Then we'll get the winch put on here, make sure it's going to sit good, and then we'll start doing the wiring. And then we'll try winching something, see how it goes. So in terms of hardware, I have 3.5-inch grade 8 Allen head bolts with a lock washer, and that goes through the plate on the receiver. Then we've got our bar stock, these 1/2-inch fender washers, and nylock nuts. Now, as you watch how I'm doing this, keep in mind I don't have a vehicle recovery service or anything like that. If I was planning to run this winch every day, I wouldn't do it this way. I'd have something a little more heavy built. But I would say in the last year, I've had a reason to run a winch on a truck or trailer 4 or 5 times. And, you know, for that frequency, this will be just fine. I do like having the ability, if I have more time than money, I might be able to pick up some side jobs and haul some vehicles, but that's not what I'm about. But the more things you're able to do, the better, is my opinion on it. And nothing I've shown you to this point cost me any more money. I already had everything here. Actually, I bought the bar stock that I used to cut on the back. Otherwise, I'm just taking my setup from the tractor and bringing it over here. And I have one of these disconnects already on the winch, and I have a second one that's going to go on the battery. That's why I'm doing it this way, because I'd like to have a winch on my truck. I'd like to have one on my tractor. I'd like to have one on this trailer, my other trailer. But, you know, this is like an $800 winch. How many of them am I going to buy? So I like the idea for now of having one winch that I can put in multiple places. The next thing that came into my mind is how to power it. One way would be to run a cord through the truck from the battery back to the back, and have a cord like this back there ready where I just plug the winch in. I don't really want to run an extra cord back there like that. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to replicate what I have on my dump trailer. Most of you are probably familiar with those. Let's actually just take a look at the dump trailer box real quick. So this is a pretty common setup, I think, that I have on the dump trailer. It's got a latching lid right here. Inside, we have a deep cycle marine battery, a hydraulic pump, and here is an inverter hooked up so you can plug a cord right there and charge up the battery. That's a perfect system to me. And so I started doing a search online, see if I could find a contained box like this that was fully set up, but I didn't find anything, and the boxes I found to do this with wouldn't really fit on my trailer right. Just the design of the trailer. This box would not just easily set in there. The other thing about this setup is it uses the 7-pin connector to trickle charge this battery. So anytime you're using this trailer, the battery is charging. And this battery will run, I don't know, 6 or 8 dump cycles on the dump trailer. So the only time I've ever had this battery run low is when I'm doing repeated dumps right here on my own property. I load it, drive 100 yards and dump it and go back and load it again. For any other scenario, the trip to the destination charges the battery enough that these never run down. And so I thought about doing that, but decided instead that for now I'm gonna set up a solar panel to charge this battery. I actually think I'm gonna go ahead later and probably wire it into the trailer wiring, but for today we're gonna do solar. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, everything I've done to this point has just been using stuff I already had. The first thing I purchased is this battery right here. I've already got these quick connects. I got a marine battery. It's already got the post on it. So I'll just be putting these on right here, plug this in, and we're in operation. I've got a battery box that's gonna mount right behind here because I only have a small rail that's 11 inches wide. In the future, I may mount a bigger box or a nicer setup than this, but I think this will work just fine for now. I'm gonna mount just a normal battery box right here, put this battery in it, and then we'll be set up and powered. But then the question is, how do you maintain your battery? I really debated if I wanted to trickle charge from my 7-pin or use solar. I ended up going with solar. I've bought this solar panel right here that I'm gonna mount up here on the trailer. And then I have a surge regulator. And I bought this connection pack. I don't think I actually even needed that. So these two items were maybe $60 that I wouldn't have had to spend if I wired it off of my 7-pin. But regardless, I was gonna need to buy the battery for the way I wanna run this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the battery box mounted onto the trailer, get the battery set in, get all this wired up, and we'll see it in action. Okay, so I've got my battery box right here. I'm mounting that. I haven't actually mounted it yet till everything's working, but I've got fender washers and some 1/4-inch screws. I'm gonna mount that. I'm also mounting this just cheap toolbox here with just some basic hand tools. Gonna mount that here and here. So I've got my power cables for the winch and then plugged in here. Okay, so we've got the solar panel right here. I'm getting ready to mount that up here, but the cord comes off that solar panel, comes down and hooks to this solar regulator, just plugs in right there. Then coming off of that, we've got this plug. It goes to these two terminals. And my design was that that would go over it like this. But these are actually undersized, so I'm gonna have to get some different ring terminals. For right now, just to have it actually functioning, I replaced those ring terminals with clip-ons. Okay, so then I'll just stick the regulator in here, hook up positive and negative for now until I get the other ring connectors. We can put the lid on here. All right, I think we've got a big shadow cast across it, but I think that came out pretty good. I think it's gonna work well, and that's a small solar panel. I thought about getting a bigger one, and I thought, how much am I gonna use the winch? I went with this small 7-watt solar panel, and in theory, if that battery's completely dead, it would take like a week to charge that. But I'm only gonna use it to pull something and then park the trailer again, or use the trailer, but I'm not gonna be winching every day. So I think it's gonna be fine. If I do have a problem, I can carry a jump starter with me and get a bigger solar panel, or I can wire it off of the trailer wiring. The problem I had here was I was doing this by myself, and the winch cord wasn't long enough to reach the steering wheel on the tractor, so I had to stop a couple times and turn the wheel. For reference, the tractor, the way it's configured right now, weighs about 6,000 pounds. If you're interested in setting a winch up the way I did on this receiver plate, I'll put links in the description to everything I used. I'd say it's really convenient to have a winch that you can easily move from place to place. All right, well, it's set up and working. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links over here to more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.